Welcome back, everybody. 6:44 on Daybreak. We always say history is all around us. And this morning, we got a story that hits very close to home for you in particular, Pete.
Yeah, it sure does. A glimpse of my dad years before I was even thought of, and a trip down memory lane for me in this Gallivan edition of the Unknown Stories of Western New York. Sometimes an unknown story will just fall into my lap, and that was certainly the case with this story. A story which began with a surprise letter unlocking a bit of Gallivan family history. This letter brought me here to 363 Woodside in South Buffalo, my grandmother's old house, a house I haven't set foot in since 1987. Hi, Maureen.
Hey, how are you?
The current owners, Maureen O'Neill and Kevin Higgins, sent me the letter and gave me my first peek inside in more than 3 decades. Similar layout, except the refrigerator used to be out in the hallway.
Oh, okay.
Sure, some things have changed, like bedrooms in what was an attic space upstairs and a family room in what was 2 bedrooms downstairs. But a lot of this house, which was such a big part of my childhood, remained amazingly familiar. You know what's great is this part's exactly how I remember it.
I love the wood in here.
Oh yeah, the wood and the brick is what always struck me. My cousin Kate Blandon, who worked with Maureen, joined me for the walkthrough.
No, Grandpa's chair was over there where the tree.
And now back to why they reached out in the first place: the discovery of an artifact.
As I was hammering the nail into the wall, Kev was downstairs in the basement.
I come down one day and there's a bunch of lath here and the report card's laying there, so it must have come like down through one of these guys.
A report card. My father's report card from the New York State College for Teachers at Buffalo, New York, what we now know as Buff State. So it was obviously hidden up there.
Yeah, like I say, a time capsule.
It illustrates his academic performance from 1951 to 1953 and perhaps why he stuck it in the rafters. And that report card was not the only bit of my father that remains after all these years. Large-scale drawings that he had done on the basement walls when he was a student were also still partially visible behind these cupboards. And here's the top of another drawing.
Okay.
Yeah, those are all Bill Gallivan originals. Kate and I exchanged memories of Grandma and Grandpa's house.
I think I look at this room and think of Christmas dinner and how long the table stretched. But of course, the children were at the piano bench in the living room. We weren't at the table, ever. We were.
And I came away with what I can only describe as an unknown story of the Gallivan family. And by the way, the report card was no indication of what was to come. My dad was a Navy officer after that and went on to a very successful career teaching art in Williamsville, despite those D's in art on his report card.
Yeah, he became an art teacher after all.
Fantastic artist. And Maureen also found this 1941 Christmas card that was sent to my grandmother, including the return address, and a comic book from 1944 that was probably my uncle's. So
worth how much now?
I think it's like $13 or something on eBay. So, and it's entitled "The Sergeant is a Jerk." It's a snapshot in time.
One more thing, speaking of snapshot, your grandfather's hair in that picture as a youngster.
Oh, that
Gallivan hair.
Yeah, that was my dad in that one picture with the hair. Yeah, the elderly gentleman sitting with the glasses, yelling at the kids to shut up because he can't hear the ball game. That was my grandfather.